God's chosen ones. Before you scroll away, pause, because something sacred is happening right now. This isn't a message for the masses. This is a signal to the remnant, chosen one. Before anything else, pause. This is not a scroll moment. This is a sacred interruption. Heaven has paused your timeline to speak directly to you. The door you've been waiting for, it's opening. Not just any door, not just a better opportunity. The last door, the final passage into what you were born for. You've been sensing it, in the tension that won't let go, in the moments where the old no longer fits, in the restless hunger for something more, something real, something eternal. You don't fit where you used to. You don't laugh the same way with the crowd. You can't settle for shallow. You can't fake peace. That's because God has been separating you for this. You've been misunderstood because you're marked. You've been isolated because you're chosen. You've cried silent tears in nights where no one saw but heaven kept count. And now, something inside you is stirring. A knowing, a weight, a sense that something is shifting in the unseen. This is not just intuition, it's divine activation. You were born for this moment. Heaven's calendar has reached your name. You're not behind. You're not forgotten. Isaiah 49, 16 de Claris. See, I have engraved you on the palms of my hands. Your walls are ever before me. You're not disqualified. You are right on time. But this door, it doesn't open with effort. It opens with surrender. It doesn't respond to performance. It responds to obedience. And once it opens, you cannot go back. You've spent enough time in preparation, enough time in proving grounds, enough time being overlooked, underestimated, and ignored. Heaven is about to reveal you. But first, you must choose. Because this is the threshold between surviving and reigning, between hiding and rising, between the wilderness and the promise. So lean in. Let the noise fade. Let the fire of truth awaken what has been dormant in you. This is the beginning of your unveiling. And if you're ready, type 777 in the comments. Not as a trend, not as a gimmick, but as a prophetic act, a sign to heaven that says, I'm ready for the last door. God's chosen one. Let's go deeper. That door you're facing, it's not just an opportunity. It's a marker, a holy confirmation that you were never ordinary. You were never overlooked by heaven. You were always marked. Marked ones don't blend in. From the time you were young, something set you apart. You couldn't explain it, but you felt it. You felt like you were watching the world from behind a veil, carrying a quiet, knowing that your life would never look like anyone else's. Even in moments when you wished you could disappear or just be normal, God's hand stayed on you. He marked you. He called you out of the crowd, and that mark hasn't faded. You may have walked through rebellion, confusion, compromise, but none of it erased your calling, the blood on your life, the favor surrounding you, the mercy that followed you into places you had no business surviving. That's evidence. You were chosen, and you were marked. There were moments you felt abandoned, forgotten, misunderstood. But even then, heaven was tracking your every step. You see, God doesn't mark you for convenience. He marks you for consecration. And with that consecration comes unusual trials. You've endured pain that can't be explained by natural circumstances, loss that hit too deeply, isolation that seemed unfair. But in the spirit, it was preparation, refinement, identification. Because when God marks someone, He doesn't send them straight into the spotlight. He hides them. He protects them. He develops them in silence. And sometimes that silence feels like abandonment. But it's not. It's incubation. You weren't rejected. You were preserved. You weren't forgotten. You were hidden. You weren't delayed. You were being downloaded, imparted with wisdom, sensitivity, resilience. Those qualities that can't be taught in classrooms, only in caves. Remember the years where it seemed everyone else was advancing, getting the job, the relationship, the platform, while you sat on the sidelines, serving, waiting, praying. That wasn't punishment. That was God keeping you from doors that would have derailed your destiny. Because not every open door is from God. Some doors are traps with golden handles. Some doors lead to platforms, but not purpose. And you were never called to be popular. You were called to carry presence. And that's why your path had to be different. You're marked. That means you don't get to skip the fire. You don't get to avoid the pruning. But you also don't walk alone. The same hand that marked you is the hand that covered you. Through every heartbreak, through every betrayal, through every dry season, God was there, shaping you for the weight of what's ahead. You have survived things that should have destroyed you. You've endured disappointments that could have poisoned your heart, but they didn't. You're still here, still listening, still hungry. That's proof of the mark. Chosen one. Your endurance is your evidence. Not your titles, not your followers, not your resume. It's your survival. It's your persistence. It's the quiet faith that kept you moving, even when everything in you wanted to stop. That's what makes you dangerous. Because hell threw everything it had at you, and you didn't fold. You're dangerous to darkness, not because you're loud, but because you're loyal. Loyal to the call. Loyal to the whisper. Loyal to the assignment, even when it made no sense. God marked you because there's something in you He couldn't trust in someone else. There's a depth in your worship, a weight in your words, a purity in your pursuit that was born out of the fire. That can't be replicated. That can't be mass-produced. That's heaven-born. You weren't just chosen. You were tested, proven, refined. And now, you're standing before the door that was always meant for you. Not a borrowed door, not a convenient door, but the last door, the destiny door. And let me tell you something powerful. This door doesn't open because of popularity. It opens because of purity. It responds not to performance, but to obedience. This is not a door for the loudest. It's a door for the loyal. And you, chosen one, have been loyal. Loyal in silence. Loyal in confusion. Loyal in obscurity. That kind of loyalty echoes in eternity. Heaven heard your yes when no one else did. Heaven saw your tears that never made it to social media. Heaven witnessed your obedience when it cost you everything. That is why the door is opening. Not because you demanded it, but because you were faithful enough to wait for it. Let that sink in. You are walking into something that cannot be explained by effort. It can only be explained by election. You are a marked one. You are a set-apart one. And the last door is reserved for those who never bowed to counterfeit crowns. And I need you to understand this next part. When God marks someone, the world may ignore them, but heaven can't. Angels are assigned, destiny is activated, and timing bends to obedience. That's why your life is shifting. That's why the warfare increased before this moment, because the enemy knows what this door represents. It's not just breakthrough, it's birthing. You're about to walk into alignment that generations before you prayed for. You're about to carry a mantle that others dropped. You're about to step into a place where your very presence shakes atmospheres. Not because of ego, but because of anointing. This is your moment, and the mark proves it. So stop doubting it. Stop questioning why you were chosen. Stop apologizing for your fire. It's not pride, it's purpose. The door is in front of you, and your obedience is the key. So breathe deep, square your shoulders, and say aloud in faith, I am marked. I am chosen. I will walk through this door. Because you were born for this. Chosen one. Before you take the next step through that final door, there's something you must reconcile deep within your spirit. Something most people overlook. The delay you've experienced, it wasn't denial. It wasn't God ignoring you. It wasn't punishment for something you didn't even understand. It was divine. The delay was divine. And you need to hear that again. Not every pause is punishment. Some pauses are preservation. Some delays are divine strategy. See, what feels like stagnation in the natural is often acceleration in the spirit. While you were questioning why nothing seemed to move forward, heaven was mobilizing angels. While you were crying over closed doors, God was blocking access to places that would have compromised your soul. The delay was never about making you wait longer, it was about preparing you for something bigger. You see, chosen ones carry weight, and weight requires foundation. If God had opened this final door when you asked for it, you would have walked in with cracks still exposed. And what is built too soon will collapse under pressure. You weren't ready then, not because you were weak, but because God was strengthening what you couldn't see. The delay made you stronger, deeper, quieter. You stopped looking for applause. You stopped craving validation. You started discerning what was sent to help you versus what was sent to derail you. That's growth. That's refinement. That's kingdom maturity. And while you were waiting, heaven wasn't silent. Heaven was watching, weighing, perfecting the moment. Because the final door can't be opened when you're anxious, bitter, or distracted. It requires surrender, full surrender. And that's exactly what the delay produced. If you look back, you'll realize that every delay had a pattern. Every no led to something better. Every delay forced you into deeper worship, deeper trust, deeper identity. You found out who you really are in the silence, and God was pleased. Don't despise the process that built you. You were not just being kept, you were being prepared. You're not who you were a year ago. You're not even who you were last month. Something has shifted, something divine. And now, when you walk through this door, you walk in with clarity, with peace, with power. Listen closely. God doesn't waste time. He redeems it. And everything you thought was lost during the delay, every opportunity, every moment, every relationship, every resource, He's bringing it back. But this time, it will be purified. This time, it will come without sorrow. This time, it will align with your purpose. The delay was God's way of making sure the blessing wouldn't crush you, that the platform wouldn't change you, that the visibility wouldn't steal your integrity, because the final door doesn't just give you influence, it gives you responsibility, and God had to make sure your soul was ready. And now that you are, the movement will be swift. It may feel like things suddenly click. That's not coincidence. That's convergence. Years of obedience are now merging into moments of manifestation. What didn't move for years will begin to move in days. What was stuck will now flow. What was silent will now sing. But don't forget this: what you receive quickly, you must steward carefully. The delay taught you how to appreciate what others take for granted. That appreciation is your armor. That reverence is your weapon. It's what will keep you from falling into the traps that take others out after they cross the threshold. And here's what I need you to declare over yourself right now. The delay was divine, and I received the blessing with honor. You must say it with intention. Say it like someone who has survived the crushing, endured the silence, and still chose obedience. Say it like someone who knows this door is not a gift, it's an assignment, and you were made for this. You've heard the whispers of the enemy, haven't you? You missed your chance. It's too late for you. You should have done it years ago. But that's a lie from the pit. Because when God sets the time, no devil can delay it. When heaven says now, it overrides every not yet that came before. This is your time, not because you forced it, but because you were faithful, and faithfulness always finds its reward. Now, chosen one, here is your prophetic activation. Type in the comments, I receive the divine timing. Let heaven witness your agreement. Let hell see that you refuse to curse what God used to build you. Let your own spirit rise in boldness as you type those words. Because something happens when you confess truth. Chains break. Fear loosens. Identity awakens. You're not late. You're not early. You're right on time. This is the set time. The appointed time. The Kairos moment. And this final door doesn't swing open with force. It opens with revelation. You've waited long enough. Not just in time, but in posture. Your soul is ready. Your heart is clean. Your hands have stayed open. And now, the promise is catching up with your preparation. Chosen one, the delay was divine. The season of waiting was a hidden altar, and what you built in private, God is about to bless in public. So rise, not in pride, but in praise, because the door is opening and your feet are ready to walk through it. God's chosen one, now that you've recognized the delay as divine, it's time to talk about something the enemy doesn't want you to understand. He saw the mark on you long before you did. And because of that, he started early, very early. Before you could form the words to describe your purpose, the enemy formed weapons to destroy it. Before you ever took your first step toward destiny, hell launched an assignment to detour you. The enemy didn't wait until you became strong. He attacked you while you were still learning to breathe, still learning to believe, still discovering your worth. Because he knew, if you ever realized who you really are, his grip would break. And that's why your warfare has been so personal. This wasn't random affliction. It was targeted. It was designed to make you doubt your identity, designed to wear down your resolve, designed to keep you from recognizing your authority. There were moments in your life, moments of deep trauma, betrayal, abandonment that didn't just hurt. They shook the core of who you believed you were. And that was the plan. Because the enemy can't steal your anointing, but he'll try to steal your awareness of it. If he can't remove your calling, he'll try to bury it in fear, shame, or confusion. But look at you, still here, still pressing, still chosen. Let that be your testimony. The enemy tried to erase me, but he failed. He threw his worst, and you didn't quit. Helaunchtlies, delay, rejection, and isolation, and still, you didn't bow. You cried, you broke, you questioned. But you didn't walk away from your assignment, and that makes you unstoppable. Chosen one. This is why hell fears you. Not because you're perfect, but because you're persistent. You keep getting back up. You keep showing up. And every time you do, you reclaim a piece of territory that was once surrendered. This battle wasn't about what you did. It was about what you carry. You carry light. You carry authority. You carry answers to prayers you haven't even heard yet. Your existence is prophetic, and your presence alone is disruptive to darkness. That's why the enemy didn't come after you when you were strong. He came when you were innocent, vulnerable, developing, because he hoped to plant lies so early that they would grow roots before you had a chance to uproot them with truth. But God stepped in. God preserved the seed of purpose, even when the soil felt poisoned. He covered you in moments you didn't even know you were in danger. He whispered identity to your spirit when your world screamed the opposite. And every battle became a brick. Every betrayal became a lesson. Every heartbreak built a throne. You were forged in fire, chosen one, and now you carry a mantle that cannot be manufactured. Understand this. The enemy's aggression was never about your past. It was about your future. He saw what was coming. He saw the favor attached to your name. He saw the assignments that would be broken because of your obedience. And he panicked. But panic doesn't stop purpose. You've walked through storms that would have drowned others. You've held your peace when everything around you was falling apart. You've carried burdens in silence, praised in the middle of pain, and believed when there was no sign of breakthrough. That's power. That's favor. That's divine evidence. And now, you're standing at the very threshold the enemy tried to block. The door is still open. His efforts failed. And you, yes, you are still chosen. Do not let the pain of the past silence the prophecy of your future. You are not the sum of what was done to you. You are the product of divine design. And what the enemy meant for evil, God is turning for good right now. Every accusation is being overturned. Every delay is being redeemed. Every attack is becoming ammunition for your assignment. But here's what you must decide. Will you let the past define you, or will you let it refine you? Because the ones who carry revival are often the ones who walked through the fire first. Let this truth echo in your spirit. You are the survivor the enemy hoped wouldn't make it. You are the answer the enemy hoped would stay silent. You are the glory carrier the enemy hoped to disqualify. But heaven said yes, and heaven's yes overrides every lie. So now, chosen one, as you look back, not to dwell, but to understand, realize that everything you endured was part of the evidence. The devil doesn't fight empty vessels. He only targets those who are dangerous to darkness. And you've been a threat from the beginning. The proof of your calling is in the intensity of your warfare, and yet you're still here, stronger, wiser, louder in spirit, softer in heart, sharper in discernment, and readier than you've ever been. So lift your head, shake off the residue of regret, dust off the memories of failure. You've outlived the worst of it, and the final door is opening, not in spite of what you've been through, but because of it. This isn't the end. It's the unveiling. This isn't the breakdown. It's the breakthrough. This isn't defeat. It's divine emergence. Walk boldly. The battle tried to blind you, but now, you see, you are chosen. You are dangerous. You are ready. Chosen one. Pause for a moment and truly take this in. You are still here. After everything. After the attacks, the betrayal, the heartbreak, the silence, the dark nights of questioning God, questioning yourself. You are still standing, and that alone is power. You may not feel powerful. You may not have felt strong in the middle of it. In fact, some of the strongest moments of your life probably looked like you on your knees, weeping. But heaven doesn't measure power the way the world does. Power in the kingdom is revealed through persistence, through faith that survives the fire, through a heart that keeps choosing God even when it's shattered. You chose to keep believing when it made no sense. You kept praying when it seemed pointless. You kept worshiping when your voice trembled. And that, chosen one, is what separates you. Others gave up. Others turned back. But you kept walking, maybe limping, maybe crawling, but still moving, still holding on, still saying, God, I don't understand, but I trust you. Do you know what kind of faith that is? That's mountain-moving faith. That's faith that shakes realms. That's the kind of faith God builds thrones on. This is why the final door is opening for you. Not because of your perfection, but because of your persistence. Because you refused to let go of the promise, even when it felt distant, even when everything around you contradicted it. You were preserved. Not because you were clever, but because you were chosen. And when God preserves someone, it's because they carry something sacred, something that cannot be destroyed, only revealed. And now, it's being revealed. There's a glory rising on your life that cannot be ignored. You are about to step into rooms your enemies said you'd never enter. You're about to speak things into existence that were delayed for generations. You're about to carry answers, not just for yourself, but for others watching you. Your survival wasn't just for you. It was for those connected to your obedience. You are a forerunner, a breaker, a door opener. And this final door is more than your promotion. It's your assignment. The world sees you surviving and thinks it's resilience. But heaven sees you surviving and calls it purpose. You didn't just endure to get through it. You endured so you could lead others out of it. Everything you've walked through has made you a guidepost for those coming behind you. Your scars aren't shameful, they are sacred. They tell a story of mercy, of endurance, of supernatural strength. You wear evidence of victory. And now, you must step forward, not just as a survivor, but as a witness of what happens when God upholds someone through fire, a witness of what it means to be sustained by unseen hands, a witness to the goodness of the one who never let go. Chosen one, hear this. You don't need to wait until you feel ready. The fact that you're still standing means heaven already called you ready. Right now, as you hear these words, something is stirring in your spirit. That stirring is confirmation. You're not imagining it. You're not too late. You're not too broken. That is the sound of purpose, waking up, the sound of destiny, leaning in, the sound of your next step calling you. So now, as you stand at this divine threshold, it's time to speak it out loud. I survived for a reason. I am chosen for this season. I step forward in faith, not fear. Let those words become your war cry, your banner, your song. And now, there's something important I need to say, something you shouldn't overlook. If this word has stirred your spirit, if it feels like God Himself is speaking through these lines, don't keep it to yourself. There are others out there who are standing exactly where you once stood, hurting, questioning, on the edge of giving up, and you might be the one God uses to pull them back into the light. So I invite you to do 3 simple things. Subscribe to this channel, if you haven't already, not for numbers, but to stay connected to a stream of truth that keeps your spirit grounded. There's more to come, and you shouldn't walk this road alone. Like this video to help push this word further, not for applause, but so it reaches someone else who's desperately searching for a sign that God hasn't forgotten them. Share this with someone you know needs it. If a name came to your mind just now, it's not random. That may be the person who's been silently praying for an answer. And this could be it. You are not alone in this. There is a rising remnant, a gathering of the marked, the misunderstood, the preserved. And you belong with them, God's chosen one. Your story is far from over. In fact, it's just beginning. The final door is open, and your survival is proof. You're ready. God's chosen one. If you've made it this far, there's something inside you that already knows. This moment is not symbolic, it's spiritual. You are standing at the edge of something that will change, not just your life, but your legacy. And now, you're being asked to cross the threshold. This is your crossover moment. Not in theory, not in metaphor. In reality, you are being called to move from hoping to walking, from waiting to stepping, from surviving to reigning. But before you step, you must understand, this is more than a door. It's a divine commission. Once you walk through, you won't be the same. The weight you've carried, the tears you've cried, the wilderness you've wandered through, all of it has been leading here, to this pivot point in your destiny. And it won't come with fireworks. It won't come with loud announcements. It comes with stillness, with conviction, with clarity. God doesn't need noise to move. He needs your yes. You've said yes 1,000 times in your heart, but now it's time to say it with your feet, with your faith, with your full surrender. This moment is holy, and it's asking for your obedience. You're not waiting on God anymore. God is waiting on you, waiting for you to say, I'm done doubting, waiting for you to say, I choose to believe again, waiting for you to say, I'll step forward, even if I can't see everything yet. And right here, right now, I'm going to ask you to do something simple but sacred. Comment 777 below. Not because numbers are magic, but because your agreement is 777 is a prophetic number of divine completion, spiritual alignment, and covenant. By typing it, you're not just participating, you're activating. You're saying to heaven, I hear you, and I obey. You're saying to hell, you lost. You're saying to your own soul, we're stepping forward. It may feel small, it may seem insignificant, but in the kingdom, small acts of obedience unlock mighty breakthroughs. Do not let this moment pass without responding. Do not let fear hold you back from agreement. Do not assume you have time to come back to this later. Faith delayed becomes faith denied. Obedience postponed is obedience lost. God is not calling you to be ready. He's calling you to be willing. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to see how it will work out. You just need to say yes and step. The wind of heaven is shifting. You can feel it. That deep stirring in your chest. That's not emotion. That's alignment. That's your spirit responding to truth. Because you've been sensing something's coming. You just didn't know it was this close. You've been feeling the pressure, the stretching, the pruning, and now you know why. The pressure was never meant to crush you. It was meant to prepare you. The pruning wasn't punishment, it was positioning. The waiting wasn't delay, it was calibration. Everything is converging now. Heaven and earth, promise and timing, faith and fulfillment. The final door is in front of you. This isn't a message for next week. This isn't inspiration for another season. This is the word that confirms what God already told you in secret. This is your burning bush moment, your Jordan River moment, your upper room moment, and it will not wait forever. You can feel the urgency in your bones. Not panits, purpose, not fear, fire. This is holy ground, and it's asking for your agreement. Socoment 777, not to impress others, not to follow a trend, but to mark your obedience in real time. Let heaven see your response. Let hell witness your surrender. Let your own spirit rise. And remember this day as the moment you said, I step forward. I say yes. I receive the door. Chosen one, you are not who you were yesterday. You are not who pain tried to shape you into. You are who God has called and preserved for such a time as this. This is your moment, your turning point, your commission. The door is open, and your feet are moving. God's chosen one. Let's speak the truth out loud. You've never fit in, and now you know why. It wasn't because you were flawed. It wasn't because something was wrong with you. It was because you carry a light this world cannot comprehend. And darkness always resists what it cannot control. You've walked into rooms and felt tension before a word left your mouth. You've been overlooked, dismissed, or labeled as too intense, too sensitive, too different. But what they called weakness was actually witness, the witness of God's Spirit resting on your life. You carry something that disrupts darkness. Even in silence, you shift the atmosphere. Even when you feel unseen, you are being watched in the spirit realm because your light exposes what others have learned to live with. That's why some people couldn't walk with you. It wasn't personal. It was prophetic. They weren't rejecting you. They were reacting to the light in you. Chosen one. When you were still finding your voice, your presence was already shaking things. You never had to try to be set apart. You simply were. That light is not pride. It's not ego. It's the evidence of God's hand. You didn't create it. You didn't manufacture it. It was placed inside you by the one who called you. And it's not for decoration, it's for battle. Your light has always been warfare. That's why your path has felt heavier than most. That's why relationships have been tested. That's why you've often felt like an outsider, even among believers. Because the light you carry exposes shadows that others have learned to live with. And not everyone is ready for exposure. But here's what you must understand. You were not called to fit in. You were called to interrupt. You were born to interrupt patterns of generational darkness, to break cycles others accepted, to shine in places others have grown used to hiding in. Your presence challenges systems. Your words carry weight. Your prayers shake things loose. And that's why the opposition has been so consistent. But here's the beauty in it. They couldn't stop you. You've carried this light through seasons of deep pain, through confusion, through silence, through spiritual warfare so heavy it nearly crushed your chest. And yet, the light didn't go out, because it wasn't your light to begin with. It was His, and it has sustained you through every storm. That flame inside you, it's holy, It's sacred. It's eternal. And now, it's being seen. Not hidden anymore. Not dimmed to make others comfortable. Not held back to preserve old connections. This is the season where your light must shine without apology. This is the season where you walk in rooms not to conform, but to transform. You were sent to disturb darkness, to agitate what's been sleeping, to confront what's been compromising. It will cost you. It already has, but it's worth it. You were never meant to be everyone's favorite. You were meant to be God's vessel. And those who are assigned to you will find you. They will recognize the light and feel peace. They will not be offended by your flame. They'll be drawn to it, because their spirit carries the same fire. So don't hide anymore. Don't shrink to fit back into spaces you've outgrown. Don't dim the light that's meant to be a signal. Don't apologize for the radiance that comes from obedience. God didn't light your fire just to keep you warm. He lit it so others could find their way. You are a torchbearer, a forerunner, a signal fire in the wilderness. You are not just carrying light, you are becoming light. And that's why the final door is opening. Because the light in you can no longer be contained. It has grown too strong, too bright, too mature. And heaven is saying, now, let it shine. Chosen one, I want you to affirm this now with every fiber of your being. I carry divine light. I was born to disrupt darkness. I am not afraid to shine. Say it again if you have to. Let it settle in your bones. Let it dismantle the shame that tried to attach to your difference. Let it heal the wounds of being misunderstood. You are not too much. You are exactly enough for the call that rests on your life. And now, it's your time to stand unapologetically in the power of the light you carry. The darkness is trembling. The shadows are receding. And you are rising. Chosen one, if you've ever wondered why the weight on your shoulders has been so heavy, the answer is simple but sacred. The weight was prophetic. You weren't carrying ordinary burdens. You were carrying blueprints. And while others saw stress, heaven saw strategy. While others saw heaviness, God saw preparation for glory. The pressure wasn't punishment, it was permission. Permission to walk into dimensions others only dream of. Permission to carry insight, vision, and authority that can't be taught, only endured. You didn't ask for this weight. You didn't choose the mantle, but heaven chose you, and the burden came with it. And let's be honest, you've wanted to put it down. There were days it felt like too much. Nights when the tears soaked your pillow and you whispered, God, why me? Seasons where the silence screamed louder than any storm. But even in those moments, especially in those moments, something holy was happening. God wasn't ignoring you. He was refining you. And the burden, that was His hand, shaping you into a vessel that could carry destiny. Because not everyone can carry weight and still walk in love. Not everyone can bear pressure and still stay pure. Not everyone can be trusted with pain and not turn bitter. But you, chosen one, you carried it well. You didn't carry it perfectly, but you carried it with a heart that refused to let go of God. And that is what He honors. Heaven saw the quiet yes behind closed doors. Heaven heard the prayers. No one else knew you were praying. Heaven felt the weight. You never spoke aloud and still chose to entrust you with more. Because the greater the burden, the greater the assignment. God doesn't give His deepest revelations to those who live comfortably. He gives them to those who have been crushed and still chose to worship. He gives them to those who can carry the secrets of heaven without using them for personal glory. He gives them to those who understand that the oil comes from crushing. That's what this season has been about. Crushing. Not to destroy, but to extract what's pure. The oil of insight, the oil of anointing, the oil of intimacy. Every burden you've carried, every weight you've felt it was pressing that brought the oil forth. And now that the oil has been released, the door must open. Because the oil isn't meant to sit in the shadows. It's meant to flow. Your obedience under pressure has created a fragrance in heaven that cannot be ignored. That's why things are shifting. That's why doors that were sealed shut are cracking open. That's why people are being drawn to you, asking questions, sensing something different. They smell the oil. They sense the glory. They feel the weight of something that didn't come from education or elevation. It came from endurance. And now, chosen one, the burden you once hated is becoming the platform for your next level. The very thing you prayed would be taken away is becoming your authority. The wounds that bled in private are becoming the wisdom that others will be healed by. This is not the time to resent what you've carried. This is the time to recognize what it's made you. You are stronger. You are wiser. You are holier, not in perfection, but in posture, and all of it, every ounce of it was prophetic. Because now, God is about to put you in places where that weight becomes influence. Not influence for applause. Influence for breakthrough. Influence for freedom. Influence for impact. So don't curse the weight. Don't regret the burden. Bless it. Bless the nights you cried. Bless the people who left. Bless the doors that shut. Because every burden brought you here, and here is where glory begins. Chosen one. Declare it now. The weight was prophetic. The burden was preparation. And I am ready to pour out. Say it until the atmosphere around you shifts. Say it until every lie that told you you're not enough crumbles under the sound of truth. You've carried long enough. Now it's time to pour. You've bled long enough. Now it's time to build. You've broken long enough. Now it's time to rise. And you will rise with oil on your hands and fire in your bones. Because what crushed you is now what qualifies you. And what nearly broke you is what's about to bless others through you. This is what it means to be chosen. This is what it means to walk through the final door. God's chosen one. Now that you've come to see your burden for what it truly is, prophetic, holy, and full of purpose, there's something else you must do. You must respond. You cannot receive this revelation and remain still. You cannot carry this much light and keep silent. This is the moment where God is not just speaking to you, He is calling for you. Heaven is waiting for your answer. Not a passive whisper, not a maybe later, but a bold declaration, a cry that breaks chains, a surrender that shakes the unseen realm. This is the sound the spirit realm recognizes. Obedience in action. So I ask you now, with urgency and clarity, how will you respond? Don't let this just be another moment that passes. This is the fork in the road. And the decision you make right now determines what flows next, not just for you, but for others. Because your yes doesn't stay with you. It creates ripples. Your surrender releases others. Your obedience opens generational doors. And when you respond, heaven moves. You are not being called to respond with emotion. You're being called to respond with alignment. This is why I want you to act on it now. Speak it. Type it. Declare it in your atmosphere. Comment, I hear you, Lord. Right now, let that be your agreement. Let it be your moment of clarity. Let it be the line that separates who you were from who you're becoming. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for the perfect timing. Don't wait until it makes sense. When God speaks, delay is disobedience. And you've already waited long enough. This is your moment to say, God, I hear you. I may not feel qualified, but I hear you. I may still carry questions, but I hear you, and I will not stay silent. There is power in response. It's not just noise. It's not just a comment. It's covenant. The spirit realm listens to bold declarations. When you type those words, when you say them out loud, you're not just talking, you're aligning. You're prophesying to your own future. You're awakening something that's been dormant too long. And here's the truth. Many heard the call, but they didn't respond. They stayed in the shadows. They feared the cost. They bowed to convenience. But not you. You're still listening. You're still here. And heaven is watching, because response proves readiness. Response activates angels. Response shifts the atmosphere around you. Even Jesus waited for response. He walked into rooms with resurrection power, but he still said, "Do you want to be made well?" Why? Because God will never override your will. He wants your yes, not your silence. You don't need to know what's next to say yes. You just need to trust the one who's calling you. Trust that if he brought you this far, he won't abandon you now. Trust that if he let the crushing happen, it was because oil was coming. Trust that if he opened the final door, it's because he's already walked through it ahead of you. You are not the same person who started this journey. Something has shifted. Your ears are sharper. Your spirit is more alert. Your heart has been purified in the fire. Now, your voice must rise. Your generation needs your voice. Your city needs your obedience. Your family needs your surrender. And your purpose needs your response. So once more, I call you to action. Comment below. I hear you. Lord, right now, let your declaration interrupt the silence. Let your agreement break the cycle. This is more than emotional release. This is spiritual responsibility. The longer you wait, the louder the doubts will become. But the moment you say yes, fully, fearlessly, freely, things begin to move in your favor. Doors respond to agreement. Angels respond to surrender. Destiny responds to obedience. Chosen one. Heaven has spoken just as Revelation 3:8 declares, I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut. Now, it's your turn. Don't whisper your response. Don't bury it beneath hesitation. Say it. Declare it. Release it. I hear you. Lord, right now. Say it until it silences fear. Say it until your own soul rises. Say it until heaven moves. This is your answer. This is your moment. This is your voice. Becoming the key. Chosen one. Something happens in the spirit. When obedience collides with perfect timing, heaven responds. The earth shifts beneath your feet. Angelic forces are released on your behalf, not randomly, but with precision and purpose. And right now, whether you feel it or not, heaven is backing you. You may not yet see it with your natural eyes. You may still feel ordinary in your body, but in the spiritual realm, there is movement surrounding you. You are no longer walking into situations unsupported. Divine reinforcements have been released. They've been waiting for this moment, the moment where your obedience activated a surge of supernatural support. What you're about to step into cannot be fulfilled through natural means. It's not something you can build with charisma or talent. This next season requires spiritual authority, and God has already begun clothing you in it. When God opens the final door, He doesn't push you into it alone and tell you to figure it out. He covers you. He surrounds you. He releases angels to go before you, to break up hardened ground, to silence voices of opposition, and to make crooked paths straight. You are not stepping into this next dimension by yourself. You are walking under a cloud of glory. You are being escorted by the presence of God, and the same opposition that once terrified you will now tremble at the weight of the presence you carry. This isn't just an opportunity, it's a spiritual territory. And heaven is releasing what you need to take it. You are not alone. That truth must settle deep inside you. The host of heaven is with you, not in concept, but in literal backing. You are walking in sync with divine timing. Your steps are now ordered in a way that no human interference can disrupt. And this includes the disappointments that tried to delay your faith. Even the no's that stung so deeply, even the doors that closed before you felt ready, they are now being redeemed. Because what once felt like rejection was actually divine redirection. God didn't let certain people walk with you because He knew the weight would expose their motives. He didn't let certain platforms carry your voice because He was preserving the sound for His appointed moment. That moment is now. The final door is opening because your preparation has aligned with heaven's timing, and you are not stepping through it empty-handed. You are surrounded, covered, equipped. There is a reason things are shifting around you. There is a reason your dreams are sharper, your senses more alert, your peace deeper. Heaven is moving with you. What you carry now is not just fire, but formation. When you speak, your words will carry a weight they didn't before. When you walk into spaces, you will carry a stillness that commands attention. When you pray, atmospheres will respond, not because of who you are, but because of who walks with you. And that's what you must declare today, not just once, but until your soul fully embraces it. Heaven is backing me. I do not walk alone. Let that truth sink in. Let it silence every voice that ever told you you're too much, not enough, too late, too broken. Let it confront every shadow of doubt and every whisper of fear. You are not unqualified. You are not unworthy. You are not forgotten. You are backed by God's word, backed by a promise older than time, backed by angels on assignment, backed by the same Spirit that raised Christ from the dead. This is not the season to question what's already been confirmed. This is not the time to hesitate. The presence that sustained you in hidden places is now equipping you for visible impact. You will walk into places you didn't campaign for. You will speak with authority you didn't study for. You will carry peace that confounds people who used to shake you. And as this truth settles in your bones, let it overflow. This isn't a private word for a personal breakthrough. This is a call to rise as part of a remnant. There are others, just like you, silent, overlooked, chosen, and they're waiting for someone to speak light into their night. So, if this word has found you, ignited something in you, reminded you of who you are and whose you are, respond. Stay connected to what's feeding your spirit. Stay rooted in the flow that awakens your fire. And don't keep this word to yourself. Someone else is standing where you stood, needing the same wind that just found your sails. Chosen one, you have no reason to walk in fear. Heaven has made a decision concerning you, and when heaven speaks, It echoes through every barrier. You are not going alone. You are moving with glory behind you and purpose ahead, and the ground is already shifting to make way for your arrival. Heaven is backing you, God's chosen one. Everything you've walked through, the fire, the silence, the crushing, the obedience is now converging into something greater than a personal victory. It's becoming a testimony that will awaken others. What you carry is not just for you. It never was. Your breakthrough isn't just a private reward, it's a public declaration, a signal to others that the same God who lifted you, restored you, and anointed you is still working, still moving, still choosing. And now, your life becomes a signpost, a map, a voice in the wilderness that says, there is a way through, and I've walked it. You may not have known it before, but you've been becoming a forerunner, someone who walks ahead, not for applause, but for alignment, someone who says yes, not for ease, but for the sake of those coming after. You are being raised up to shine light on paths others gave up, trying to find. This is not just the reward for your obedience, it is the responsibility of your mantle. Your life now becomes proof, not perfection, not performance, but proof that God raises the overlooked, that He anoints the forgotten, that He redeems every broken chapter and turns it into strategy, that He doesn't waste a single wound. There are people attached to your assignment who won't move until you move. They won't believe until they see your walk. They won't rise until they witness your resilience, not because you are their savior, but because you are a walking testimony of what surrender can do. You are the answered prayer someone didn't live long enough to see fulfilled. You are the breakthrough someone else cried out for. You are the proof that God finishes what He starts. This next season won't just change your life, it will shift others into theirs. Your yes is opening a floodgate. There are people who will watch your life and find hope again. They'll see what you carry and be reminded of what they lost. They'll hear your voice and remember their calling. They'll notice your presence and feel their spirit awaken, because the glory on your life is contagious. And with that comes responsibility. You are being entrusted with visibility, and not just to be seen, but to reflect the one who sent you. The light isn't yours. The authority isn't yours. The breakthrough wasn't for applause, it was for demonstration. You are the before and after. The look what the Lord has done. The walking miracle. And your presence will now serve as a prophetic signal to those still in the cave, still in the pit, still trying to decide if it's worth it to believe again. Your testimony isn't loud, but it's undeniable. And heaven will amplify your yes in the places that matter most. You don't need to chase platforms. You don't need to force open doors. The ones assigned to you will recognize your fire. They'll find you by the fragrance of your faith. They'll follow you not because of charisma, but because of consistency. And here's what I need you to hear in your spirit right now. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to go ahead. Not above, not beyond, but ahead. Ahead in surrender. Ahead in intimacy. Ahead in trust. You are the one who had to fight battles in silence, so others wouldn't have to. The one who stayed when others left. The one who prayed when no one else saw the point. The one who kept showing up when everything inside you wanted to disappear. That faithfulness is now bearing fruit. Not just for you, but for the many. You are not just stepping through a door. You are becoming a door. A doorway into healing. A doorway into identity. A doorway into freedom. Others will walk through what you've opened, so let this be your resolve. I will carry what God gives me with humility. I will walk with authority, but stay under his covering. I will rise without pride, shine without compromise, and speak without fear. Because this is more than your story now. It's his glory through your life. You are no longer just a survivor. You are now a standard, a reminder to the world that God still calls, still chooses, still raises up those no one expected. So stand tall, not to elevate yourself, but to be seen by the ones who need your light to find their way. You are the signpost. You are the signal. You are the voice that says, "This way, he's still moving." Chosen one. We've come to a sacred moment, one that requires a deeper surrender than before. You've seen the battles. You've endured the fire. You've received the oil. And now, you must fully accept the mantle. You were never called just to survive. You were called to carry something, to represent something, to stand under the weight of divine responsibility. That's what a mantle is. It's more than favor. It's more than gifting. It's a holy assignment, sealed by obedience. And today, heaven is placing that mantle on your shoulders. You may not feel ready. You may still wrestle with your past. But God isn't asking if you feel qualified. He's declaring that you are chosen. This is not a title. It's a trust. The mantle you are receiving now is heavy because it carries legacy. It's been shaped by your story, refined through your suffering, and confirmed in your silence. It wasn't given lightly. It was earned through midnight cries and uncelebrated faithfulness. The moment you say yes to this mantle, everything changes. You no longer walk as just an individual. You walk as a vessel. Your steps become sacred. Your voice becomes weighted. Your presence begins to carry prophetic impact. That's why the resistance has been so violent. The enemy doesn't attack people without mantles. He attacks the ones with something to lose, the ones with something to release. But the very warfare you faced is what proves the weight of what you carry. You are now stepping into an era of divine movement. You're not just aligned, you're appointed. You're not just available, you're anointed. And now, I ask you to act on this truth, not for performance, but for confirmation. Right here, in the middle of this divine moment, comment 999, I accept the mantle. Let your words agree with what heaven is doing in this very hour. Let it be written in faith. Let it be sealed in surrender. 999 is a prophetic marker. It signifies fullness, divine transition, the closing of one era and the beginning of another. When you type it, you are not performing a ritual. You are stepping into alignment with eternity. Let your soul know you are not who you were. Let the enemy know your yes is non-negotiable. Let heaven hear it again. You are ready. There are people, places, and destinies waiting on the sound of your obedience. The mantle carries keys not just for your doors, but for the doors of many. When you speak, others will hear chains begin to crack. When you pray, atmospheres will bend. When you show up, the spirit of heaviness will lift. Not because of who you are, but because of who walks with you and what you now carry. So walk carefully, walk boldly, walk aware. This mantle comes with miracles, but it also comes with responsibility. You are no longer just responding to your own needs. You are now carrying answers for others. You'll feel the weight of what people don't say. You'll discern the warfare others can't name. You'll weep over things you don't fully understand. That's the mantle doing its work. That's God enlarging your spirit to hold more. You will be misunderstood. You will be stretched. But you will be sustained. and you will never again walk through fire without authority. Because now, the fire recognizes you. The wind recognizes you. The battle recognizes the mantle you carry. This mantle is not about elevation, it's about impact. You are now a weapon, a healing balm, a breaker of cycles, a gatekeeper for the next move of God in your family, your city, your generation. So lift your head. You are not wearing shame anymore. You are wearing glory. You are not clothed in fear. You are cloaked in favor. Chosen one, declare this: I accept the mantle. I embrace the weight. I walk in the fullness of what I carry. Say it until it becomes your rhythm. Say it until your spirit rises to match your calling. This is your mantle moment. This is the hour where you cross from potential into purpose. Step fully in. Chosen one. Now that the mantle rests upon you, something sacred shifts within. You begin to see differently, move differently. You no longer wander, you walk with fire. You no longer question whether you're called. You understand that every battle, every silence, every scar was part of the confirmation. But there's something deeper God wants you to see now. Before every crown, there is a crushing, and you, beloved, have known the crushing well. This part isn't preached often. The in-between, the bleeding seasons, the private agony that came before public alignment, the moments when you cried, not from pain alone, but from the confusion of being faithful while still being broken, the silent wondering, why is obedience so costly? Why does favor still feel like fire? It's because there is no true glory without crushing. And you've been in the press. Every no you received. Every door that wouldn't open. Every friendship that fell apart when you needed it. Most all of it was the crushing that shapes the crown. You weren't being crushed to be punished. You were being crushed to be poured. To carry something weightier than charisma. To hold something heavier than applause. You were being made into someone who could carry the presence without compromising the purpose. The crown doesn't come after the applause, it comes after the crushing. And here's the mystery of the kingdom. The heavier the crushing, the brighter the crown. You know this because you've walked through it. The seasons where no one saw you, but heaven watched every step. The dark nights where your tears felt endless, but they were collecting oil. The prayers you whispered while bleeding, those became your authority. You carry glory now, but it didn't come cheap. You've been rejected, and now you carry compassion. You've been overlooked, and now you carry discernment. You've been broken, and now you carry healing. This is the exchange of heaven. The old you had to die so the crown you could rise. And it wasn't instantaneous, it was sacredly slow. Because real authority isn't granted in a moment, it's forged in the furnace. That's why your walk has weight now. That's why you can speak, and the room shifts. That's why you carry presence without even trying. Because the crushing has stripped away performance, pride, and false motives. What's left is purified purpose. Let that settle into your soul. You didn't lose yourself. You found your truest form. Now you wear something on your life that can't be explained by degrees or titles. You wear something that only comes through pain survived and still belief chosen. That's why others won't understand you. That's why some will misunderstand your joy, your peace, your fire. It's not arrogance. It's assignment. It's not confidence in self. It's confidence in what you've survived to carry. You're not just rising, you're being crowned. This crown is not of gold. It's of glory. It's not seen by the eyes of man. It's recognized in the spirit. Demons know it. Angels move for it. Heaven honors it. And from now on, every step you take is no longer for survival. It's for territory. Every place your feet touch has the potential to be transformed. Not because you strive, but because of who walks with you, and what now rests upon your life. You are no longer wandering in identity, you are moving in authority. Chosen one. Say this out loud. The crushing did not destroy me, it crowned me. Say it until the grief breaks off. Say it until shame loosens its grip. Say it until the weight you once carried now feels like glory resting on your shoulders. And never again resent the seasons that pressed you. Those seasons made you royal in spirit. They taught you intimacy. They taught you surrender. They taught you how to die to the version of you that was trying to survive without fully stepping into purpose. Now, you live from the crown. You pray from the throne room. You move as one who knows the price of the anointing and honors it. Others will notice the difference. They will see the fire in your eyes and wonder where it came from. You'll smile not with pride, but with peace, and say quietly in your heart, "It came from the crushing, and I wouldn't trade it for anything." This is your coronation season. The silence that once tormented you has now birthed clarity. The pain that once broke you has now become your platform. Wear the crown well. Walk with reverence. You were crushed, but you are crowned. Chosen one. There comes a moment in every divine timeline when heaven speaks not in whispers, not in riddles, not in private, but out loud, before witnesses, in a voice the universe cannot ignore. That moment is now, and it is about you. You've walked the hidden road. You've lived through years where the anointing was real, but no one acknowledged it. You carried revelations in your spirit, but silence in your surroundings. You prayed for mountains to move, but felt like you were buried beneath them. Not anymore. Because now, heaven is not just stirring behind the veil, it is pulling the curtain wide open. The court of glory has stood to its feet. Your name is being called. Loudly, publicly, eternally. This is the moment Jesus described in Luke 12:8, when he says, "Whoever acknowledges me before others, the Son of Man will acknowledge before the angels of God." That verse wasn't only about your confession, it was also prophetic about your reward. Because you have acknowledged him in private, he is now acknowledging you before the councils of light. The King is saying your name. He's not whispering it. He's declaring it like thunder wrapped in fire. And when heaven speaks your name, hell takes notice. Every lie spoken against you begins to fall apart. Every chain that clung to your identity begins to break. Every closed room where your name was once dishonored, God now reclaims it in his righteousness. You are not a forgotten one. You are not a background extra in someone else's prophecy. You are the fulfillment of a word long awaited. And today, heaven is making that known. In Revelation 3, woo, it is written, "I will never blot out the name of that person from the book of life, but will acknowledge that name before my Father and his angels." Let this sink in. Heaven doesn't just remember your name, it speaks it out before the throne. This is not abstract. This is not poetic flair. This is judicial, covenant, final. You see, when heaven declares your name, it is not a mere encouragement, it is an activation in the Spirit. This is the trumpet that launches movements. It is the proclamation that marks the end of one era and the violent birth of another. You have arrived at that line. The wilderness has ended, not because it was easy, but because it was complete. The silence is over, not because you begged for noise, but because heaven has chosen to make sound. The Father is not hiding you anymore. He is unveiling you. When he says your name now, it shakes realms. Every opposing spirit that tormented you in the dark is forced to bow as the judge speaks your identity aloud. Every assignment sent against your calling trembles and collapses as your purpose is confirmed by fire. You don't need human approval to be validated. When God says your name, creation obeys. Let me make this clear. This is not fame. This is not popularity. This is heavenly announcement, where your identity is sealed and revealed in the presence of thrones and dominions. The sound of your name is now echoing through the heavens, carried on the wind of prophecy, stamped by the fire of the Holy Spirit. And here's the truth. Most won't say aloud. There's a weight to being known in heaven. It's not a title, it's a target. But you were forged for this. You didn't survive the attacks, the betrayals, and the silence just to be safe. You survived to be set apart, to be named, to be released. You are not being promoted, you are being declared. This is the sounding of the trumpet that brings alignment. This is the call that breaks delay. This is the voice from heaven saying, "This one, this child, this vessel, I have chosen, I have refined, I have prepared, and now, I declare, Isaiah 62:2 promises this, you will be called by a new name that the mouth of the Lord will bestow. That moment is now. You are stepping into a new name, not the one they gave you in mockery, not the one you wore in trauma, the name that heaven had for you from the foundation of the world. You were not called by your past. You are not known by your wounds. You are not defined by your delay. You are named by the one who sees the end from the beginning. Heaven is not consulting your history to determine your identity. Heaven is consulting the scroll, the blueprint, the destiny written in God's own handwriting. And on that scroll it says, your name, right beside the word appointed. The enemy wanted to bury your name beneath scandal, shame, and slander. But heaven has resurrected it. The name you carry is not just your own. It is a banner, a trumpet, a seal. And when it is spoken, authority is released. Chosen one, if you can feel this in your spirit, it's because your spirit recognizes the frequency of heaven. This moment is real. This declaration is now, and this voice is calling you to rise. You've been hidden in humility, but now you'll be revealed in holiness. You've been trained in silence, but now you'll be trusted with sound. You've been broken in private, but now you'll be blessed in the open. Let this be your response. Let heaven know you received the call. Let hell know you are no longer hiding. Type I receive my name in the comments. And if you haven't yet, subscribe so you don't miss what God is releasing over your life. Like and share this message if it stirred something deep in you, because someone else is waiting for their moment of unveiling too. This is no longer just your journey. It's your public appointment. Heaven has spoken. Your name is rising. You've been named. But being named is not the end. It is the threshold. Because when heaven calls your name, it does not only acknowledge who you are, it awakens what you carry. And what you carry must now be released. Chosen one. This is the hour when your anointing moves from internal fire to external force. You are not simply marked for glory, you are activated for impact. The time of observation is over. The time of demonstration has begun. God is not just revealing you, He is commissioning you. Do you feel it in your bones? The way your spirit stirs at the mention of obedience, that trembling you sense is not fear, it is power waking up. Your shadow was never meant to blend in. It was meant to disturb darkness. And now, everywhere, your feet tread. Authority flows. You speak, and atmospheres bend. You decree, and resistance breaks. Because the mantle upon your life is not a theory, it is warfare in motion. You are not waiting for a platform. The earth is your platform. Wherever you go, you carry the sound of divine disruption. And the powers that once mocked you now recognize the weight of your presence. You carry kingdom fire, and it is not hidden anymore. Luke 10, the 19th of December. Layers. This isn't metaphor, it's your daily mantle. It is your daily reality. I have given you authority to trample on snakes and scorpions, and to overcome all the power of the enemy. Nothing will harm you. You are not negotiating with the enemy. You are walking over him. You are not hoping he retreats. You are advancing with power that cannot be ignored. And here's what must be said. Your fire is not for show. It's for setting captives free. Your authority is not for applause. It's for tearing down strongholds. You weren't chosen to entertain. You were chosen to reclaim territory. Every generation has its torchbearers. Not the loudest, not the most qualified in the eyes of men, but those who burn with holy resolve. You are one of them. You didn't get here through shortcuts. You got here through surrender. You were forged in the heat of unanswered prayers and midnight tears. You were prepared in the dark rooms of rejection, when all you had was God's whisper. And now, that whisper has become a roar in your mouth. You speak, and spirits flee. You sing, and chains fall. You move, and regions awaken. You are not stepping into ministry. You are stepping into battle. This isn't about titles or church positions. This is about heavenly orders and divine movements. The kingdom of God does not come with observation. It comes with fire. And you, chosen one, are blazing a trail. Everywhere there is despair, you will speak hope. Everywhere there is confusion, you will declare clarity. And everywhere there is oppression, you will release deliverance. Because the Spirit of the Lord is upon you. Isaiah 61, 1:3 declares your mission clearly. The Spirit of the Sovereign Lord is upon me, because the Lord has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor, to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim freedom for the captives and release from darkness for the prisoners. You are not powerless. You are dangerous to every lie, every stronghold, every plan that opposes heaven. You're not just surviving, you're breaking through. And where others retreat, you advance. Where others whisper, you declare. Where others bow to fear, you walk in fire. Don't underestimate what you carry. This is not pride, it's obedience. Because hiding your authority dishonors the one who gave it. You are not walking in arrogance. You are walking in alignment. Say it. I am aligned. I am mantled. I am sent. Right now, there are people waiting for your yes, not for your perfection, not for your credentials, just for your obedience. Because your voice carries deliverance. Your prayers shake systems. Your presence carries permission for others to rise. Let this be your declaration today. I won't shrink back. I won't downplay my fire. I will walk in the power given to me. Comment below. I walk in authority. Let the kingdom of darkness know you are no longer on standby. You are active, alert, and moving. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel. This is where fire is fanned. This is where warriors are raised. This is where mantled ones find their tribe. Like and share this message to awaken the next torchbearer. Because this is bigger than you. This is legacy. Movement. Power. The time of waiting is over. Your feet have been prepared for fire. You're not called to just carry it. You're called to release it. Move. Chosen one. Move in holy authority. The fire has been lit. The mantle has been claimed. And now, the terrain ahead begins to shift because you, chosen one, are stepping not just into obedience, but into divine territory. You are no longer wandering. You are walking with authority. Each step now is strategic, assigned, and sealed in heaven. But make no mistake, this is also the stage where resistance intensifies, not because you're off course, but because you're directly on it. The enemy knows when someone has crossed over from potential into purpose, and when you do, everything that was hidden behind the veil of delay and fear comes to the surface. Why? Because your movement threatens strongholds. Because your existence awakens dry bones. Because your yes to God is louder than the noise of 1,000 no's whispered by those who never dared to follow. But hear this clearly. You are not walking alone. Psalm 91:11 affirms this. For he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. You are surrounded. You are watched over. You are covered in the realm of the seen and the unseen. There's a shift now, not just in how you walk, but where you walk. Because now, you are stepping into the places God set apart for your feet long before you were born. Territories that lay dormant until your spirit came alive. Conversations that remained unspoken until your voice was trained in fire. Rooms that were locked until your identity aligned with heaven. You are walking into divine alignment. And it will feel unfamiliar, not because it's wrong, but because it's been reserved. Some doors are delayed, not because you're behind schedule, but because heaven had to wait for the appointed hour. And this is the hour. Chosen one, you are entering into what? Deuteronomy 11, Vasin Teverin promised. Every place where you set your foot will be yours. Not out of ambition, but because of commission, not by might, nor by power, but by his Spirit. And here's the beauty. Where you go, the Spirit goes with you. You are not sent to observe. You are sent to influence. You are not placed to blend. You are placed to shift. You were never just accepted. You were assigned. God is strategic in his placement. He doesn't anoint you and then guess where to send you. He designs every assignment to fit the exact size of your spirit. Where you are going, your obedience is oxygen. Your worship is warfare. Your prayers are blueprints. You will find yourself in places where others could not survive. Not because you're better, but because you are built different. You were forged in silence, trained in secret, and now you are walking into spaces where your very presence testifies of the supernatural. There will be days ahead where you won't understand the terrain, but trust the one who built your feet for it. You were not made to collapse under strange soil. You were made to sow revival into unfamiliar ground. Your steps now break curses. Your yes now reverses delays. Your prayers now unlock timelines for others. That's why the fight has been so heavy. Because what you carry is generational. And when you move, cycles are broken not just for you, but for the bloodline that flows through your veins and the spiritual sons and daughters who are watching your journey. This is why you had to endure what others did not. This is why the warfare was personal, intense, strategic, Hell knew what you'd become before you ever believed it. But now, you do believe. You do know. And you will not retreat. Let this rise within you as a declaration. I will not give up the ground I've been given. Say it again. I will not give up the ground I've been given. God did not bring you this far to watch you fold. He did not open this door for you to walk away from it. You are not here to observe others walk through their destiny. You are here to possess yours. So walk boldly. Walk even when it feels like a storm. Walk even when it feels like you're unqualified. Because the truth is, you are not walking by feeling, you are walking by faith. You will speak to the winds and see them bow. You will stand before impossible walls and see them crumble. You will lift your hands in worship and watch heaven respond in thunder. This is not arrogance. This is alignment. You have been made for this moment. Your footsteps are prophetic. Your silence carries presence. Your breath carries authority. And as you walk, others will be drawn, not to your name, not to your gifts, but to the glory that walks with you. That glory is not for show. It is for transformation. God is using you as a mobile altar wherever you stand. Heaven touches earth. Chosen one. This is what obedience unlocks. This is what faith activates. And this is why you can no longer delay. Step forward. Step fully. Step boldly. And if this word confirms what your spirit has already heard, comment below. I'm taking the ground. Let the heavens witness your agreement. Let hell tremble at your decision. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now. Like and share this message with someone else who's been waiting to take their next step. You don't know who's watching, but God does. This is not a stroll. This is a charge. And you, chosen one. You were born for it. Chosen one. Take a breath and listen carefully. This is the moment everything has led to. Every battle, every tear, every delay, every divine whisper has brought you here. You are standing at the threshold of something eternal. Not a season, not a trend, but a destiny, a calling that was written into your DNA before you ever took your first breath. This door you're facing, you were born for it. You didn't arrive here by accident. You didn't stumble into this word by mistake. Heaven has been aligning your steps even when you didn't know what you were walking toward. And now, you've arrived at the place where purpose meets obedience, and everything begins to move. This isn't just another shift. This is the final unlocking. The moment where your inner knowing becomes outer movement, where you stop waiting for someone else to validate what God has already confirmed in secret. The door is open, but it won't pull you through. It's waiting on you. All this time, you thought you were being delayed, but the truth is, you were being developed. God was growing your endurance, sharpening your hearing, stripping away the voices that couldn't go where He's taking you. You had to be emptied of false identity to be filled with divine clarity. Now that clarity has come, you no longer question who you are, you know. You no longer chase what isn't aligned. You discern. You no longer cling to what's familiar. You're ready for the unknown. Because your faith has been made mature. This is what chosen looks like. Not perfection, but posture. A heart bowed low, eyes fixed upward, feet ready to move. You're not just stepping through a door, you're stepping into your coronation moment. This is not a season. This is a spiritual enthronement. And as you take this step, don't look back. Don't rehash the pain, the regret, the guilt. That version of you was never meant to carry this mantle. That version of you served its purpose. It brought you to surrender. But now, You must let it go. Chosen one, it's time to rise. And as you do, let your final prophetic declaration ring through time, space, and spirit. A confession that seals your yes with finality. Comment below. 000. I was born for this. That's not just a phrase. That's a key. A spoken seed that unlocks inheritance. 000 is the symbol of origin, of divine genesis, of the place where destiny begins. You are not starting over. You are returning to the place where God first breathed his plan into you. You are not picking up a burden, you are stepping into the weight of glory. You are not wandering, you are walking into why you were created. So, declare it. Speak it. Let your own soul hear it. I was born for this. I was chosen for this. I was shaped in silence, prepared in fire, mantled in mystery for this exact door. And now that you are here, all of heaven is watching, not in doubt, but in delight. The Father smiles. The angels move. The Spirit leads. You are not walking forward in fear. You are stepping with certainty. No more detours. No more doute. No more delay. This is your divine moment. And as you walk through, don't forget this truth. You are unstoppable. You are unshakable. You are chosen for this exact moment. Let the fire inside you rise. Let the light shine without shame. Let the weight of heaven rest fully on your shoulders, because you were made for it. This is not your ending. This is not your beginning. This is your becoming. And now, go. The door is open. Heaven is waiting. You were born for this. Chosen one. Pause with me here. Let everything you've heard settle deep. This wasn't just a message. It was a mirror, a reminder, a mantle, a call. And most of all, it was confirmation. You didn't just survive the wilderness. You were shaped by it. You didn't just carry the weight. You were made stronger through it. You didn't just stumble across this door. It was always written in your story. Now you stand different. You speak different. You see different. Why? Because you are no longer asking if you're chosen. You've stepped fully into the truth that you are. And as you go forward from this moment, remember, this isn't just about one open door. This is about a way of walking, a lifestyle of alignment, a posture of obedience, a relentless trust in the one who knows the end from the beginning. The final door may have opened today, but this is only the beginning of what you will step into. Keep your ears tuned to heaven. Keep your heart low before the Lord. Keep your feet moving in faith. And when it gets hard again, because it will remember this truth, you were born for this. You carry the evidence. You move with backing. You walk with glory. Now is the time to let your yes echo. If this word has stirred your heart, subscribe to this channel so you don't miss what heaven wants to say next. Like this message to help it reach more chosen ones, and share it with someone who needs to hear. Your door is opening too. The remnant is rising, and you are not alone. Walk boldly. The final door is behind you. Destiny is in front of you, and glory walks beside you.